Hi everyone, it's Michelle. So the last two videos, if you guys saw, we're talking about logic in your eating disorder and also black and white thinking. And so I was thinking how that's definitely a topic that I think needs to be discussed. And so I want to look at kind of like the thoughts that go on in your head and like the logic that there is, but in like a different way by looking at the distortions. I want to look at like specific um, examples that are like a lot of people with eating disorders actually face. I was consulting with this one girl I know who also has an eating disorder, and I said these things to her that we had never talked about, and as soon as I said them, she was like, "That distortion is in my mind all the time. I know 100% what you're saying." So I thought this would be awesome thing to talk about. So I need to get adjusted, guys. Okay, so the first distortion that I have, okay, first off, a distortion is something that like you morph so that it's not like a logical thought. It's something that you convince yourself is logical. For example, okay, I have OCD, as I said. So in one of my other videos, if you guys saw. But so you come up with like distortions that, oh, if I get to class 8 minutes before the bell rings, the class will be good, I will learn what I need to learn, and I will be a productive student. But if you don't get to class 8 minutes before the bell rings, then you are a lazy student, you won't understand what the teacher is talking about, and you will be fat. And if you look at that, that's a distortion. That's you're taking something and just morphing it into this weird thing that makes you follow all these rules, and basically it just gives you like this annoying voices in your head saying this is how you should act, and it gets really annoying. So that's what a distortion is, and I want to talk now about well-known or common distortions. So the first distortion I have is you look healthy. A lot of the times when you're recovering from an eating disorder, you don't want to gain weight, obviously, but like you have to, and people don't really know what to say when they're talking to somebody because they don't want to say, "Oh, it looks like you've gotten fatter. I see you've put on some weight." Like that's not helpful. That's not going to help someone with an eating disorder get along better. And so a lot of the times they say you look healthy or healthier because they think that's the safest thing to say, or maybe that's just what they think of. But basically, whenever I think of somebody saying you look healthy, to me, healthy is like I instantly assume that they think I look fat. They can tell I've gained weight. Because in today's society, we don't really have a good understanding of what a healthy body is. I know the media portrays a lot different types of bodies and what you're supposed to look like. And so sometimes I'll be walking around and I'll see like somebody, and I always compare bodies. I know I shouldn't, I'm trying to stop, but I do. And so I'll compare bodies and I'll look at somebody and I'll go, I mean, they look normal, but I don't know what normal is. Like, it might be somebody who's really thin, and I'm like, oh, that looks normal. And then somebody who technically would be categorized as well as normal I might consider fat. And so when people say you're healthy, I always attribute that to like a fatness. But the thing is, that's not what they're saying. They're saying that you look like your body is like basically getting better and healing itself. So another distortion I have is you can't have an eating disorder because I saw you eat earlier. It really gets on my nerves when people are like, I saw you eat, so you don't have an eating disorder. They don't, like, those people don't get what eating disorders are, because eating disorders are mental illnesses, and a lot of the times when people say that, like, my mom will always be like, she kind of doesn't believe that I have an eating disorder, even though it's like obvious. I'm in therapy for an eating disorder, like all this stuff. She just doesn't want to admit it to herself. And so, because she sees me eat, she thinks that there's nothing wrong with me. But the thing is, like, whenever she does that, whenever I feel like, oh, well, she said I don't have an eating disorder, so obviously I don't. And that a lot of the times turns into denial in my mind, and then I'm like, oh, I don't have an eating disorder. But when you're turning that to denial, it's basically hindering your recovery because you're not allowing yourself to accept, yes, you have an eating disorder, but that you can recover from it. It's perfectly able to be done. Like, there have been people who have fully recovered. Um, so another distortion that I have is you are so selfish for having an eating disorder. When I first hear that thing, I am just filled with like, I don't know, I'm filled with mixed emotions because part of me is like, oh my gosh, people always think like eating disorders are like attention seeking and I want everyone to see me and stuff. But it really hurts like my feelings when people think that you're selfish for having an eating disorder, because really eating disorders are a mental illness, and it's not like I go, oh my gosh, you're so selfish, you have cancer. Like, you wouldn't do that. um, which is why also I think that people need to change the way that they look at eating disorders and see it as an illness and not just somebody who's self-centered. Because a lot of the times, actually no, not a lot of the times, eating disorders, the disease itself is an isolationist disease that, well, my experience and others with eating disorders, my cuckoo clock's going off, I'm sorry. But so basically it's like you don't want to cause any harm to anybody else. You want to take all that pain that you have and give it to yourself because you don't want anybody else to deal with it. And why would you hurt yourself if, like, you wanted attention? Why wouldn't you be? People always say that you're self-obsessed, and like, if you're self-obsessed, I wouldn't be saying, oh my gosh, I'm so fat, I shouldn't eat today. I'd be saying, oh my gosh, I'm so pretty, you guys all need to look like me. Like, I think there's like a difference there, that really no one can understand, but like needs to be brought forward. So the two more that I have are actually, they're not direct statements, they're just ideas. So when people, oh, no, basically, so people only compliment me because they feel bad. That is one of my distortions, because sometimes people compliment me and I'm just like, oh, they can tell that I'm not having a good day or something, or they feel like they haven't complimented me in a while. And it's kind of like a pitying thing. And my distortion is then like, they feel bad about me. Well, then that makes me feel bad about myself and just gets more depressed. But if you like think about it, people might compliment me because they might think, wow, like I actually really love your hair today, or those shoes are adorable, or whatever the compliment is. So that's that one. And then the last one that I have, guys, is whenever somebody looks at me while I walk, they think that I'm fat. This one's a big one with me and my other friend who has an eating disorder, because I'm very self-conscious, and I feel like whenever I walk down like the hallways in school and stuff, the first thought that comes to somebody is, oh my gosh, she's so fat, like what is she doing here? And people do, like, you know how when you walk down the hallway and people look at you and you're like, awkward, I don't know who you are, and then you kind of just keep walking. They might just be looking at you because they don't know where else to look. Like, sometimes walking through the hallways, I'm kind of like, I will look at the ground because I don't know where else to look. But basically, most likely they're not thinking you're fat. That it would be a distortion, because a lot of the times they're just like, oh, hey, look, it's them. Do I know them, or is that a stranger? Kind of just recognizing who you are. Yeah, basically that's all I have on that one, guys. If you guys have any more distortions that you guys want me to bring up or something, let me know. But I think that, like, with our logic, like, there was this one night where I was just really, really bad in my eating disorder, and I had to admit that I can't fully trust myself. I can't fully like rely on my logic, because my logic is this disordered way of seeing things. And so I had to reach out and be like, hey, look, can you help me? Like, I can't see right. Which doesn't mean that I can't do other things perfectly well. Doesn't mean that other aspects of me are taken away or diminished. It just means that I need help in one aspect. Um, Also, with black and white thinking, I know it gets really hard, and like your first reaction whenever you hear certain like things, such as you are healthy, like that, it's just instantly, oh, they think I'm fat, I've gained weight. And so basically, like, my thoughts on that would be like kind of trying to break down the that distortion, like, not distortions, because the distortions are going to be there as you work through recovery, but they're gonna like slowly get quieter as you enter like recovered. But so black and white thing, I'm losing my track of mind. So anyway, yes. Basically, I guess I'll end the video because I don't know what I was going to say. Oh my gosh, this video is so long, guys. I am very sorry about that. But I hope you guys all got something out of this. I hope that you will comment, rate, subscribe, and send any more questions you guys have, because I know we're looking for ideas of videos. We want to know what you guys want to hear about eating disorders, because we could just ramble on about all this different stuff, but we're really here to like help others in their eating disorder. So if you have any question that you want to ask us, feel free to. I'm sure that myself or one of the other girls would love to answer it. So, okay, that's it for this video because it's getting really long, guys. And again, I said I'm sorry. Okay, bye.